Hello everyone, today we'll be watching a food theory video. It's called Food Theory Cheetos Are Cow Food. So I guess hot Cheetos are cow food. Who would have known? Let's get right to the video, baby. I know you all are curious and you want to know what's going on.
Here's your feel-good story for the day, theorists. In 1978, Richard Montañez began working as a janitor at Frito-Lay. One day, a machine in the plant malfunctioned and stopped adding cheese dust to the Cheetos. Fun fact, by the way, the company's official term for Cheetos dust is Cheetle, but I digress. Since the Cheetle-less batch of corn puffs couldn't be sold to consumers, Montañez took some of the unseasoned Cheetos home with him and flavored them with spices reminiscent of Mexican street corn. His spicy hot Cheetos were a hit with family and friends, and so Montañez pitched the idea to the CEO of Frito-Lay's parent company, PepsiCo. Today, you probably know Montañez's creation as Flamin Hot Cheetos, a product that has generated over $1 billion in revenue for the company since hitting shelves in the early 90s. And as for Montañez, a janitor who is a 4th grade dropout, he's now a vice president at PepsiCo.
What? Good for him.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Food Theory. If you're hungry to learn, go ahead, snack on that subscription button. What can I say, theorists? Cheetos are just one of those foods. If I eat one, there is no way that I'm stopping until I reach the bottom of the bag. I mean, cheese puffs are basically everything I love rolled into one lumpy, lightweight snack. They're fried, they have salt, they have cheese, plus electroencephalogram results show that getting Cheetle on your fingers provides, quote, a sense of giddy subversion that consumers enjoy over the messiness of the product. So really, how am I not supposed to be addicted to these things? The folks over at Frito-Lay have clearly done their research. The Cheeto is a perfect, meticulously engineered snack food, or so it would seem, until you find out that they were a complete accident. You see, theorists, I recently went down a bit of a Cheetos rabbit hole when I started researching the origin story of Flamin Hot Cheetos. Apparently, a biopic on Richard Montañez's life is in the works with Fox Searchlight, so initially I thought it might be a good topic for the Film Theory channel, but as I dug deeper into the history of Cheetos, I came to realize that the story of a janitor inventing Flamin' Hot Cheetos, as fascinating as it might be, was actually the second most intriguing story about the history of Cheetos. Because what really blew my mind was the story of how corn puffs themselves were invented, or should I say, rebranded. Folks, we were never meant to eat cheese puffs. No human was. Hats off to you, Cheetos. Game recognized game. You almost distracted me with your PR-friendly feel-good story about the janitor, but I've passed all that now. My eyes are open. Here's the real story here, theorists. The one that big snack food doesn't want you to know about. Cheese puffs are repurposed cow food. No clickbait here, friends. Cheese puffs are a straight-up byproduct of livestock feed manufacturing. And lest you think that leveling up from livestock feed to human food would be enough for the audacious cheese puff, think again. At this very moment, even as we speak, your favorite crunchy cheese snack is quietly rebranding itself yet again. And this time, it's not aiming for the moon, it's aiming for the dang stars. Let's jump right in, friends, because today's food theory is utterly outrageous. The cheese puff's origin story begins in the early 1930s in Beloit, Wisconsin, where a man by the name of Claire Matthews came up with an idea for a feed grinder. This machine was capable of breaking corn and other popular livestock feeds into smaller flakes, which was handy because the smaller sized flakes were easier for animals to ingest. Matthews got a handful of business partners together, and in 1933 they founded the Flackall Corporation, a Beloit-based company dedicated to producing flaked livestock feed with its patented feed grinder. But what they didn't yet realize is that they had also invented the world's first corn puff snack extruder. See, two things would happen whenever their feed grinder was run for an extended period of time. One, the machine would get hot. Two, it would clog. In order to prevent clogging, every so often the machine operators would pour moistened corn kernels through the feed grinder in order to flush it out a bit. Now, if the moistened corn happened to get fed through when the machine was really hot, the corn would come out on the other end in long, puffy ribbons, almost like lumpy, bumpy strings of popcorn. This clip from the BBC actually does a great job of succinctly explaining how a corn puff snack extruder actually works.
The raw maize goes inside, and a tightly fitting spiral compacts it.
As the spiral turns, it forces the maize down towards the end, and the force gets harder and harder and creates heat, and so much heat that when the maize finally gets squeezed out of this tiny little hole here, it's so hot that it cooks it. and you get corn puffs.
Now, the Flackall Corporation didn't give much thought to these puffy ribbons at first. After all, they were just a byproduct of the cleaning process. But if history has taught us anything, it's that anytime something new comes along, someone's gonna put it in their mouth. In this case, that somebody was Edward Wilson, a machine operator with the Flackall Corporation. The puffy corn ribbons piqued his curiosity, so he took them home after work one day, deep fried them, then seasoned them with some good old Wisconsin cheddar cheese and salt. Wilson's so-called corn curls were such a hit that the Flackall Corporation made some tweaks to their feed grinder design and patented a brand new machine to pump out corn curls for human consumption. Flackall changed its name to the Adams Corporation in order to fully separate itself from the livestock feed origins, and the Adams Corporation went full on into the corn curls business, which I gotta say is just absolutely crazy when you think about it. Here's a handful of guys from Beloit, Wisconsin set out with a dream to make it in the glamorous world of livestock feed, only to accidentally wind up creating pretty much the most addictingly delicious human feed of all time. Talk about a glow up, huh? So despite its humble agricultural origins, the cheese puff has found its true purpose as a snack food. Or has it? That's right, theorists. I'm here to tell you that the cheese puff may not have achieved its final form yet. In the 1930s, it rose above its station as industrial waste and managed to climb the culinary social ladder to the level of snack food. Not too shabby. But you see, the cheese puff and Richard Montañez have more in common than you might think. Montañez did not settle for middle management. He kept climbing until he was in the executive suite. And Cheetos refused to stop climbing too. Theorists, if you haven't noticed already, the Cheeto is inventing itself yet again. And this time, it's shooting for acceptance as a legitimate culinary ingredient. You heard that right. Yesterday's cow food wants to be tomorrow's fine dining. And if you think that sounds ridiculous, consider just how far the Cheeto has already come. For decades, people have been working Cheetos into their home recipes. Flamin Hot Cheetos in particular. I mean, there are hundreds of Cheetos-infused recipes online for dishes of all types. Hot wings and Jell-O shots that incorporate Flamin Hot Cheetos, burgers and sandwiches that use Cheetos for a fun, cheesy texture change-up. If you can dream it, someone out there has probably tried it. We're talking Cheetos tacos, Cheetos pizza, Cheetos as a salad topping, Cheetos ice cream. And it's not just people messing around in their home kitchens either. At least not anymore. Real professional chefs are getting in on the Cheetos game. In 2017, Cheetos launched a pop-up restaurant in New York City called the Spotted Cheetah. The menu, prepared by celebrity chef Anne Burrell, included dishes such as Cheetos meatballs, Cheetos mix-up crusted chicken Milanese, and Cheetos Sweetos crusted cheesecake. That pop-up restaurant was such a hit that Cheetos teamed up with chef Roy Choi the following year in Los Angeles for another pop-up called the Flamin Hot Spot, which incorporated Flamin Hot Cheetos into a variety of dishes. And just this year, Cheetos moved into the world of sushi, not as a temporary pop-up either. Hisho Sushi now offers the Cheetos Flamin Hot roll on their menu at locations across the US. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that I collabed with Rosanna Pansino on her cooking channel and tried a bunch of these Cheetos creations, and I gotta say, they're not bad. Heck, some of them would be even considered great, provided, you know, they weren't takeout and ordered hours before and sitting around because we were waiting to shoot the video. That video, by the way, is up in the upper right-hand corner of the screen right now. Go watch it. Rosanna and I, we're best buds. She's my sister from another mister. I love her so much. Ro, I've missed you so much this year. Let's do something when it becomes safe to do something together again, please. Now, obviously, the vast majority of people still view Cheetos as a standalone snack food, but the fact is, Cheetos are only becoming more accepted as a cooking ingredient as time goes on. And if you think about it, Cheetos are really versatile as far as ingredients go. First, they come in a wide variety of flavors, so if your dish is sweet, savory, spicy, whatever, there is a Cheeto for the job. Second, Cheetos can be easily ground into crumbs, meaning they can be infused into dishes the same way any powdered ingredient could be. And then there's the texture. Cheetos can add an unexpected crunch to any dish it's added to. And finally, it has a distinctive look. The Cheeto can be added to pretty much any dish as a garnish. Of course, the mere fact that Cheetos are useful as a cooking ingredient isn't enough. The real test is whether Cheetos can rebrand itself in the eyes of culinary society. No small task for a snack with a cartoon.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna be honest, if you, like, show Cheetos to Gordon Ramsay, he's gonna shit all over your dish, man. Like,
Cheetah as its mascot. But such a rebranding isn't unheard of. Plenty of other foods have managed to climb the social ladder, as it were, shedding their low-class status and becoming accepted as fine dining material. Lobsters and caviar, for instance, were once regarded as foods only fit for prisoners. Today, of course, lobster is often the priciest item on the menu. And even mid-level caviars can set you back $75.
Lobster and caviar was food for prisoners? Yo, these prisoners were eating good.
Cheetos for a single ounce. Nigiri sushi, truffles, oysters, all of them have enjoyed similar makeovers over the years. Now, just because these foods achieved culinary acceptance doesn't mean that Cheetos necessarily will. After all, the foods I just listed all had it easier than corn puffs. They were considered food when they began their journey to the top. Corn puffs weren't even regarded as food fit for livestock. They were literally industrial waste products. But here's something to help encourage the Cheeto as it trudges onward and upward. A food has managed to accomplish the leap from absolute waste product to top tier luxury item. Technically it's a drink, but still. I'm talking about rum. See, in the 17th century, the molasses left over from sugar production in the Caribbean was regarded as an industrial waste product. It was often just dumped into the ocean until someone figured out how to distill it down into liquor. And today, a top shelf rum will sell for hundreds of dollars per bottle. So take note, Cheetos, the path from industrial waste to culinary appreciation does indeed exist. But will the Cheeto be able to pull it off? Will it actually be able to shed its ignoble beginnings and pull off a Richard Montanez of its own? I'm sure not gonna bet against the corn puff on this one. Not only are people working Cheetos into recipes more than ever before, but Cheetos has the benefit of having Frito-Lay and PepsiCo on board, helping push their product into the world of fine dining with pop-up restaurants and chef collaborations. I mean, heck, if Tide Pods can make the leap from inedible laundry detergent into snack food for idiots, I see no reason why Cheetos can go from cow food to snack food to fine dining. And I see no reason why you shouldn't be able to digivolve yourself from absolute noob to master in whatever skill you choose using our sponsor for...
Alright, so now we're starting to get to an ad, and well, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. I love y'all. You know the vibes. Peace out, baby.